Today we are going to request about discussion about requirement traceability matrix. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand what is this requirement. Okay, traceability matrix. Okay, so you all know, right? Requirement, right? Basing on the requirement only, developers will develop the code and testers will write the test cases. Based on the requirement only, they will execute the test cases. If any test cases which is not matched with the requirement, then the test case is failed, right? Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in this requirement traceability matrix, suppose in a project there are 5 QA resources are there. Okay, assume that there are 5 QA resources are there. Okay, so there are minimum 1000 test cases are there. Okay, so how can they divide? So per each person 200 test cases will come in their bucket, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for each person they need to execute 200 test cases in one sprint, means 2 weeks of time or 4 weeks of time. Okay, so out of 200 test cases, okay, so there might be some regression test cases will be there, some retesting will be there, some will be non-functional will be there. Okay, apart from that, you can segregate. So how many test cases are mapping with the requirement? Okay, does the test cases are related to the requirement? Is it working fine or not? How many are executed? How many are pending? How many are not passed? How many are failed? How many defects you raised? How many defects was major? How many defects was critical, minor? Does the developer fix that one? So entire they want metrics. Sir, why we need this? Why we need this? Because the customer or the client won't bother about how many test cases you written. He don't care about how many test cases written or something. He want to see the report. Okay, there are 1000 test cases. Out of 1000 test cases, how many are passed? Okay, 600 passed. Okay, 200 not executed. Okay, so out of remaining 200, 100 bucks are there, and the remaining 100 are which are still under development. Okay, so basing on this, he will came to the picture how the application is stable and robust. Got it? Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now we will go to this requirement traceability matrix. Okay, so a traceability matrix is a document that correlates any two baseline documents, so which are mainly mapped to the relations to check the completeness of relations. Okay, so it is used to track the requirements. So suppose login is a requirement. Okay, for that requirement, how many test cases are written? How many test cases are passed? How many test cases are failed? How many defects are logged? To get the traceability, to get the trackability. See, similarly, I will give you an example in our Google Maps. Okay, in our mobile, we are having a Google Map tracking, right? So you will get an alert for every month or every year. Okay, so in last month you have visited this place at this time. So based on that track report, we can came to know, okay, we went to there and we have did something. Just like a detailed analysis of your monthly where places you visited, right? Okay. So you can see, right, traceability matrix. So it is a document that maps, okay, user requirement with the test cases, as I said. Okay, it captures all the proposed by the client and the requirement traceability in single document. Okay, so why it is important? Okay, so the main agenda of every tester should be understand the client's requirement and make sure that the output product should be defect free. So this is a main agenda of tester, right? What is the main agenda?
Yes, sir.
To make the product or application defect free. Okay, so to achieve that, every QA understand, basing on understanding of the requirement only, we need to provide both positive scenarios and negative scenarios. That means positive test cases and negative test cases. So which are all related to which requirement? Suppose for a logout functionality, how many test cases are mapped? Apart from that, how many are positive, how many are negative? So in that positive test cases, how many are pass, how many are fail? How many defects you have logged under for this requirement? So to get all the information by using some metrics, that is called requirement traceability matrix. Is it clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what parameters include in the requirement traceability matrix? So as I said, requirement ID, requirement type, description, test case level. So requirement ID, we know. Requirement type, is it a functional or non-functional, or is it a positive test case or negative test case? And test case with status, whether it is pass or fail, or if you are not run or not executed, pending, okay, still under development, what is the status? Okay, so you can see, right, this example template. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see that requirement ID. So suppose, for example, requirement 01. What is the requirement description? Login to the application. So for login, they have written 3 test cases. So login with invalid username, invalid pass. Okay, your valid username, invalid password. Login with valid credentials. So 3 scenarios they cover. So all these 3 scenarios will be comes under login application, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the requirement of this login application? Requirement 1. Okay, so test case design completed. File who was designed so and so, so Shruti or something. Okay, UAT test requirement. Okay, if it is yes, you have to keep it yes. If it is no, then you keep no. So if you are executed in test environment, testing team environment, if it is pass, you need to keep it as a pass. If it is in if you have verified it in UAT environment, then you can keep it as a pass. If it is not, then you keep it as a no run. Okay. Similarly, if you have logged any defects, if it is yes, then you can keep what is the defect ID, what is the defect status, requirement cover status. So partial. So this is the template, simple template. So any doubts in this template?
Awesome.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Any doubts, team?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So about that UAT test requirement, what's that column means?
Which one? This one.
I, the column I.
UAT
User accept.
requirement. So suppose if it is given the requirement from the client, okay, then if it is UAT test required, if not requirement, this one UAT test is required or not. If it is required, you have to keep yes. If it is not required, then you have to keep no.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
Okay. Okay. So one word I can say about this requirement traceability matrix. So after providing this matrix, so we can say that it is a one-stop shop for the all testing activities. So basing on this requirement traceability matrix, so we can say that application is stable and robust and defect free. So then it will move to further state, right? So whether it will be moved to UAT or if the UAT is also executed, then it will move to production. So once the production will go, then testing team will not have any work. If any issues came from the production, then again work will be. Okay. So the main agenda was how better if you understand the requirements, then only you can able to write the test cases which will be mapped for the requirements. If you don't understand the requirement, you cannot able to write the more number of test cases. If you are not covered the more test cases, you will miss the more scenarios. If you miss the more scenarios, then there might be having a effect of if you are missing more defects. So what is the core for this?
Requirements.
Requirement documents or SRS or wireframes. Okay. Next, backward
Sir,
or
I have a doubt.
yeah. Go ahead.
In the template.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We give login credentials. So under that, we defects are as we present in yes. Sir. No. What is the defect, sir? We give the valid credentials. No. Completed password.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, if you given valid credentials also, okay, there might be they addressed some, you are not able to log in. Okay, this is like just like an example. So for providing some defect ID, they have kept some like this. Okay, suppose if you are giving the login with valid credentials, you are not able to log in, then there is some defect, right? For that purpose, they have kept like.
But it is passed in other environments like test environment, UAT environment.
See, this is a
It is passed, no, sir.
sample example template. You got my point? This is just
Yes,
a sample template. This is just a sample template. Does we really run these test cases? Does we really run this scenario now?
No, no, sir.
For your understanding purpose, it is a sample template. Okay. So how it should be like that? Okay. So traceability matrix are three types: forward traceability, backward or reverse traceability, bidirectional traceability. Okay. So this matrix is to check the whether the projects is desired direction for the right product. Okay. It makes sure that the requirement is applied to the product. It maps to the requirement. So whatever the test cases you have written, it must and should map to the requirement in the forward traceability. Coming to reverse traceability, current product remains the right track. Okay, so is your current product moving in the right track, or any deviations is there? Okay, or sudden changes of requirements, due to sudden changes of requirements, you are getting more issues or not? So everything should be covered in the reverse traceability. Okay, and bidirectional, it is a combination of both forward and backward. Okay. Next, how to create the requirement traceability matrix. So BRD, business requirement document, technical requirement document. Okay. So who will do this? This technical requirement, testers will start writing the test cases based on the technical requirement document. Okay. So this is just like similar like how we are writing the test cases, but here we are not giving pin to pin in detail. Okay, see, if you see the business requirement as a B1 module, login and logout, who are the applicable roles? Manager, customer, description. Okay, so we no need to write the test cases, just we are giving an overview of how the functionality will work. Customer can log in using with the login page, manager can log in with the login page as a customer, post login home page will show for the different links based on role. If you are logging as a customer, you will get some home page. If you are logging as a manager, he will get some other home page. So this is called what? Technical requirement document. Okay.
Business requirement.
Yeah, you can call it as test case requirement document also. No problem. Terminologies are different, but the concept is same. Okay, so you can see, right, for login, they have created these test cases T92, T93, T94. Okay. So you can see, right? Verify login when the correct ID. So for this test case, they have given ID pass, login pass. So this login will map to which T94, right? So you need to map this. So test case, technical requirement ID, description, steps, test data, expected. What you written in the test, it will come all in your test case document. Okay. So this is the one which we want to do. Okay. For the business one requirement. Suppose if it is a B1, what is the test case requirement for that T94? How many test cases are mapped for that? Okay, one. For B2, T95, how many? So like that, we have to create a traceability matrix. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the advantages of this requirement? So it will comes 100% of test coverage. It highlights any requirements are missing or document inconsistency. It shows overall defects or execution status, how many are passed, how many fail, how many defects are raised, how many are spillovers are there. Okay, how many QA resources are working for test cases. Okay, how many are putting their effort, how many are not putting their effort. So everything should be traced out, trackable in this requirement traceability matrix. Okay. So if you go to this website, you will get a template also. I will ping this one. Okay. And